Hello and welcome. I'm happy to be joined today by my friend Jackie Lue Raia. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning, David.
So Jackie is a very skilled facilitator and has an expertise in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and she's the founder and president of Alexena Consulting. Jackie, can you share with us a little of your background?
Sure. I kind of fell into this diversity world because I'm actually not a native New Jerseyite. I'm from the island of Jamaica. And so I was born there. My parents were born there. So our lineage is very heavily into the islands. So yeah, and we still, my household is still very, very much Caribbean. And then I married my husband, who's French Canadian and Italian. So my household is extremely, in and of itself, very diverse.
And where were your parents' families from?
We're from China originally. Yeah, so I have a little bit of Cuban in me as well. So I like to brag about that as well.
Wow, so China, Cuba to Jamaica to New Jersey. Excellent.
Yeah.
So Jackie, I've had the privilege of watching you facilitate a diversity and inclusion workshop, and I thought that you have a unique and different style. Can you share with us what makes your facilitation experience different from others that are out there?
Sure, David. You know, what I don't like is to lead my audience or lead witnesses, if you will, so that the conversation is really about the audience at that moment, so that people really get to bring their true selves to the table. So yeah, it's all about what's going on in my audience's life at that point.
And what is it about diversity and inclusion conversations that gets uncomfortable? I've seen a lot of facilitators say, you know what, it's going to get uncomfortable in here, and then they follow it up with, because it has to. What is that discomfort, and can you share an example or two of when you've witnessed that uncomfortable setting?
Well, so a lot of people, David, are uncomfortable just talking about themselves. Some people are afraid to bring their true selves to work. And until we get to the point where we're okay being curious and uncomfortable, we're not going to be able to get to the next place of acceptance, of inclusion. Because how can you have an equitable situation in a diverse situation? Because we know New Jersey is one of the top states that are diverse, right? How do we get to that place of less discomfort if we aren't able to talk about what really makes us, right?
Right. Yeah. So that's a great point. Brings me to my next question. Like yourself and other D&I facilitators that I know, you're in big demand right now since the murder of George Floyd and others, and the social justice movement. How would you advise the leader of an organization on how to approach this issue, especially if they have no history of addressing diversity and inclusion in their organization?
Well, great question, David. Thank you. And it really is a situation right now where we have never seen this kind of divide and unrest. In my history, I know that I've never experienced this before. And I think what leadership is doing, and I will say that many of them are recognizing that they need to ask these tough questions. They need to engage their employees and their workforce, saying, all right, how do you feel today? What are you feeling today? What is bothering you? And what as an organization can we do together to overcome this? And yeah, we all know this is not going to be resolved today. It's not going to be resolved probably even tomorrow. This is an ongoing conversation that leadership needs to commit to, and they need to very clearly say it to their employees that we are in this together. We are in a position right now where there are a lot of questions, a lot of uncomfortableness, but let's be curious about each other and let's talk about it. And so I think that is one of the key things that leadership can do right now, is not only just start the conversation, but to continue the conversation so that people remain engaged and feel like they're included.
Jackie, as you indicated earlier, you come from a very rich ethnic and racial background. Um, can you describe some of the experiences you've had where you've confronted bias or bigotry?
Well, so when I was growing up, when we first moved to the States, I was one of two Asian families in my entire school system, which was huge. And I remember, being made fun of, and that is scarring for the rest of your life. So I understand why this civil unrest is going on right now, although I can't truly appreciate it until, David, this whole thing of the coronavirus originating in China, it really hit home for me, because not me personally, but people in my family were very much harassed. And to the point where my son was approached on the subway, and he was told in very loud in a very loud voice that it was his fault, that the NFL season was not happening. And that scared me. It really scared me. So in that respect, I could really empathize a little bit more as to what all this civil unrest and discomfort, why it's happening, and why people feel the need now to speak up about it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And again, I thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you present in the future.
Thank you so much, David. It's been my pleasure.